Welcome to KLINK Africa, a place that intertwines beauty, lifestyle, wellness, and work, and all things fabulous about an African woman. I'm your host, Karabo Nonduma, with my co-host, Sakwe Mafoyane, and a special guest who brings the age average down. Significant. Welcome, Khumulumo Kas.
Thank you.
We're going to have amazing conversations about girl on girl. Across generations.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we are different. So make sure you listen all the way through and tell us what you think about girl on girl.
Oh my goodness.
Guys, this thing of girl hate, versus girl support. I don't know what you guys see or your experiences are with this topic.
It's ridiculous. It's actually sad.
Yeah.
I think you hear it. I mean, I used to hear my mom and her sisters talk about it when I was young. And my grandmother had tales of being in nursing school, and you just think, it's generational. And then you grow up and realize it's a real thing. Like really, really, really sad. But I'm dying to hear Homer's perspective about,
her experience.
My experience. I have a story actually that recently happened to me. So I joined the gym recently, and I think it was Friday. I went to the gym, I was working out, I was there for a whole hour, I was in pain, it was great. And a lot of people were staring at me, like the guys were staring at me, the girls were staring at me, but no one came to me.
And I'm
thinking, yeah, I look good, guys. Yeah, I'm doing the workout. Yes, look at me.
Yeah.
Cool. Everyone looked at me, no one said anything. I'm like, okay, I'm just that girl. I go to the bathroom, I realized, oh no, I actually started my period.
Oh.
And I was wearing pink tights. It was so heavy. You could literally just see it as soon as I bent over. I didn't mess up on anything, so I didn't notice. But besides the men around, I wasn't even embarrassed. I was more angry because there were ladies at the reception. There were ladies behind me. There was female trainers there, and not one woman came to me just to let me know, just to be like, hi. It might be that time of the month, or the common decency to just let me know.
Yeah.
But instead, watch me for that whole hour going through this, knowing that everyone's watching, and just keep it quiet.
Why do they do that though?
It's ridiculous. It's sad, actually. It really, really is. And to come from women who themselves go through this. We all go through this every month for our lifetime. It's actually really, really sad.
So what did you do?
I went to the shower and I came straight to work. There was nothing I could do. I wasn't embarrassed again. I was just so annoyed with everyone. I didn't want to speak to anybody because I was like, I would do that for any other girl that was in that gym. And not one girl did that for me.
It's crazy around, and you think, this is a biological thing, right? It's not, you didn't have an accident. This is actually what happens in a woman's life every single month when they enter adulthood. But actually, this happened to me this year as well, earlier this year in February. I was out for breakfast, but Kari left.
Yeah.
And I had an oopsie, but I knew that my cycle, but because of hormonal stuff, I do get heavy months and not so heavy months. So I knew that something was happening. And I said to my partner, I'm going to go to the bathroom. He gave me his jacket so I could cover myself to go to the bathroom. But when I came back, he said that the two ladies, because we were in a restaurant, the two waiters waitresses were actually giggling after I left to go to the bathroom.
About your oopsie?
About my oopsie.
Come on.
So he's the one that actually then, took up issue with them to say, what, do you not have a time of the month? And what was comical about that? And I love that. I love the fact that it was a man that actually stood up for me. But very, very sad.
You chose well, friend.
But he's a good man.
Absolutely, big ups. But I also think it's something that we need to take a little bit seriously.
Yeah.
We have girls who don't have protection,
access
during the time of the month.
Yes.
There's a big drive about getting
about period poverty.
Yes, and the pads, the tampons and things that girls need during that time of the month. And if us in the city, with all the exposure and all the support that we have, can still not support each other,
But where
What
does
about that girl in the village?
Where does that stem from, though? Where does it come from? You know, I was speaking to my niece earlier this week about the, she was, I don't know, I think it's after I did the hair. And, you know, she was like, oh, pretty hair. And she was congratulating me. And I said to her, oh, it's a nice thing. All you said was congratulations. If you'd said, must be nice. Because it's that. It's the, I'm happy, but I'm not really happy for. It's that passive aggression that I think for me comes from a place of lack, because it says if you're shining, you're taking away from me.
So if you're embarrassed, it elevates me.
It elevates me.
Wow.
I feel like a better person because somehow you're sitting in shame, and it's sad. It really
We stand
is
up
sad.
for all of us.
Absolutely, because if you think about it, what is a person gaining from that passive aggression?
Oh, guys, we need to do better.
If not in that moment thinking you're beneath me and I'm above you. But it's a very, very sad.
But it goes to other aspects of life.
Absolutely.
Right? Why is it that I need to bring you down to elevate myself?
Yeah.
We don't, you know, do we see each other as a collective?
Yeah.
Or do we see each other
We're
as
pitted against each other.
Yeah. I mean, we have examples of older women who we look up to, you know, and for them, you're coming to take their shine, so they're not going to support you. But then you have those that, you know, embrace you fully.
Yeah.
You know, and they take you as a little sister, and they share real nuggets with you, whatever it is you need to succeed, their content, their, you know, whatever it is that you need, because they are, is it because they are fulfilled in themselves? Is that what it is? That we lack fulfillment in ourselves, so we're constantly looking at another girl as competition. I don't know what you see, you know.
I think it's just they're envious, and they feel like if they don't kind of push you out of that door, you're going to come in and take over everything that they've built or everything that's there for them.
So there's not enough for all of us.
That's what it may feel like, that there's not enough. Like, whether there's not enough jobs, not enough men, there's just not enough. So just protect all that you have and push out everyone else.
I think the reality of emotions like that, like fear and envy, I mean, like jealousy and envy is fear. Someone must be feeling fearful, because otherwise, if you knew that, you know, if there's 10 liters of juice, I'm not going to run ahead whenever Karabo is going to go get a glass, because there's enough for us. It must be that there's a fear that your success means that there's less left in the bucket for me. And I think that's sad. And I don't want to call it the African condition, because I'd actually love to hear the perspective of women across racial lines, to hear if they're having the same experience.
You know, you've got this two polar opposites. You have women who are older than you, that you look up to, especially in the corporate space, and some of them can be so nasty.
Yeah.
It's like you're coming to take the space for them.
Yeah.
You know, away from them, and others are super helpful. They want more of you in the room. You know, we all need to win together. So I don't know why we think we need to take, or we need to block so that we can
somebody
shine.
else can
You know,
shine.
there's so much light for
all of us, right? And it just, I suppose it goes to the maturity levels. Those people that are generally self-fulfilled, that are happy and content, will be the ones that continue to make space for others.
Sure. So do you guys still fight over men? Is it the, you know?
Yeah, are you there?
The girls that punch each other.
It's
that
so
will happen.
passive aggressive, or it'll be like gossiping, it'll be like speaking nasty on the next person, it'll be like sabotaging that relationship, it'll be like taking that man because I want him and I don't like that you have him. And then you're not going to fight against the girl. No, you're not going to fight against the man who now broke that trust. You're going to fight against the girl again to win back this man who's just jumping from woman to woman, because the women just want the men, and we're not supporting each other. We're not holding each other up. We're not telling her, look, this guy isn't worth it. Or look, so we pit against each other. And even if it's not men, it can sometimes even be schoolwork. For example, for me, let's say we're in a group assignment that we're doing, and there's other ladies there. I've experienced ladies being nasty to me, saying I'm stressing too much, you're putting on too much pressure, I'm gonna be the group leader, I'm gonna do this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, but you could have just said that. You could have just said, I'd like to take on the role of being group leader. I know we voted for you, but I'd really like the opportunity, not go on the group chat and say, you're stressing everybody out, you're too anxious, you're too, just trying to bring you down.
I mean, you just have to log into social media, right, to watch the comments that women have on other women. You know, they'll say, you're beautiful, but why are you wearing a wig? If you loved yourself, you'd celebrate your natural beauty. Or it's, you know, she's only pretty because she's light-skinned. It's men get on with life. And I feel like that's what keeps limiting us as a society of women, because men get on with it. Honestly.
You know, I saw a post on social media, you know, beautiful girl. And to your point of the butt. And someone then went and zoomed in on the picture and noticed something weird behind her.
Oh God.
You know, it's like, so what is that thing behind you? So we are now ripping
completely
apart, you know, what you're putting through, and we are killing you.
Or demeaning it.
Actually
saying, you know, there's no value in this. Let's distract it. And I think we get caught up in that. We allow ourselves to get caught up in the noises of people that shouldn't matter in our lives.
And what about in families? I mean, in the in-laws, you know, you have, in some instances, your sisters-in-laws who are already also married, and they know the, you know, the perils or the struggle of being a married woman. But when they go home, they don't, you know,
they're still not supportive of you.
No, they're not supportive of you. You know,
it's probably because they're facing struggles in their own marriages that they won't tell you about.
So you're bleeding on me now.
They're absolutely, unfortunately bleeding on you. And it's sad. I just feel like we grow up in a society that doesn't celebrate women celebrating other women. If you look at the structures, and there's no issue with the structure itself, it is for me what it brings up. I mean, if you look at the world of pageantry, right? The world of pageantry says there's 12 of us, and God made each of us in our glory, but one must come out better than the other. And if you think about kind of the latent feelings or issues it leaves the other 11 with. You know, you're not good enough, you're too short, you're too tall, you're too big, you're too, you know, and there isn't a culture of pageantry for men. And I keep going back to that with men. Back in the olden days, or still in some culture or societies in Africa, and I still wish we had it here, you know, men have to take off their shirt and you've got to see that they've got a full set of teeth. But generally...
You need to bring that back.
Generally that doesn't happen anymore. So men are built confident, whereas I feel like we're raising little girls to fall into formation. You know, be likable, smile. So I do wish that, you know, we raised girl children to celebrate themselves in their uniqueness. And I think the more we did of that, the less we'd be inclined to look at what Karabo brings and see it as competition.
But isn't it also about the women who raised those girls? So it's a generational flow. So if I am incomplete in myself and I have my own insecurities, I take it onto the girl child, and I want her to be a reflection of me. And if I'm all about perfection, I want her to now be the perfect one. You know, then it increases this cattiness in the system.
Absolutely. But somebody's got to break the cycle, right? It's like saying, somebody who says they come from a poor family. Okay, but what are you going to do differently to break that bloodline? And I think it's just about being conscious about who you want to show up as in the world. And hopefully in having these conversations, we can challenge each other to start to show up differently. And also hold a mirror up to each other. Maybe that's for you, Homo. And your friends.
I mean, what are you guys, what's your generational push towards?
Absolutely,
I think it's just being kind to other girls. I'm not someone that's really successful enough to be a mentor, but even to those maybe a bit younger than me, they'll come to me asking me questions, asking me for help, guidance, asking me for that push, asking me for advice. And that's what I can really do, is just help them and show them grace, show them kindness, that they can pass that on as well. Because I think a lot of what we need is a lot more kindness to one another, especially as girls, a lot more kindness, a lot more celebrating and saying, wow, you're doing so lovely, wow, you look so great, wow, I love this, where did you get your hair done, where did you get your nails done?
Yeah.
Just celebrating and helping one another. That's what I'm kind of doing for the females out there.
But do you find that girls in your generation are celebrating each other? You know, yes, there will be competition, which I think as you grow is probably going to happen, but do you have a sense that, you know, you can tell each other that you look good, you're pretty, they like what you're wearing?
Yes, actually, yes.
Boost your confidence.
It's nice to get that compliment from people. Compared to men, it's so nice to get it from another woman who genuinely thinks you look beautiful, and it just makes you feel good. You feel elevated. So I have experienced that, and I'm glad to have experienced that.
So we're moving forward.
We are moving forward. And to also change the self-talk. You started off by saying, I'm not so successful, but you are.
Yes.
You know, wherever you are in life, there's people greater than you, but there's people lesser than you.
So, and there's you in that moment.
And there's you in that moment.
Yes.
And to get to that moment, there is elements of success in that. So to recognize that.
That's true. And Homa and I were dates to an event, an African Women Chartered Accountants event, where they were celebrating one of their own.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they have an annual event called Women of Substance.
Love it.
And they choose a woman who's a trailblazer in society, be it in business or in corporate or in public sector. And it's a whole group, a room full of beautiful women who dress up and come and celebrate that woman.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And they have a guest speaker also who's a woman. It's a beautiful day. I don't know what
it was
your
amazing.
feedback was.
There was just so many amazing. It was so inspiring.
Yeah.
Everyone was so kind. Everyone was so celebrating each other, elevating each other, inspiring one another. Like, it was just beautiful. And then everyone's looking good, feeling good. It was a lovely, positive environment to be in.
Oh, beautiful. And I think for me, I hope we can be deliberate. I say it all the time, but I think even in our small groups of friends, I don't think we're deliberate enough. I said in a previous episode that what I've been grateful for in my transitioning from corporate to being an entrepreneur is how deliberate Karabo has been about supporting me. I promise you, you'd think she's getting paid for it. She is militant.
No, I will charge.
What do you think this is? Wow, disclaimer. I did not know. But it's that, friend, and I appreciate it, and I know I say it a lot and I'll keep saying it. Yeah. But it's about you deliberately make spaces available for me. Friend, can you have a conversation here? Friend, you want to come along to this? And in our small spaces, we don't do that enough. We talk about it, but I think we leave the burden with somebody else. So I think if we can each embrace how deliberate we are about showing up for each other, and I think the more we do it, the less agony there will be around us competing.
And also we'll realize that we're going through the same things.
Yeah.
You know, you and I, when we have our one-on-ones, we realize, oh my God, I'm also going through that, or I've been through that, or it's something I never thought about, but I could probably relate. So a lot of us are in our own little silos or our own little spaces, and maybe that's why we are so envious or jealous, because we think the other one has it better. Somebody who looks put together cannot possibly go through what I'm going through. The subject of marital issues, that people don't want to speak up because then that's another thing. We're being taught that that's your greatest success. Yeah. So if you fail at it, you're a failure in everything else in your life. So we're scared to talk about it. But when you open up, you're like, hey, this is what I'm going through.
You realize,
and their walls come down. In each other is therapy, right?
Absolutely.
We help each other heal.
Absolutely.
So if you are going through that issue with your periods, what is so wrong to say, hey, this is what's happening? Do you think I want to be exposed like this? Really?
And to embrace the opportunity to teach people. Like I said, I was very grateful on that day that I have a partner who is militant about protecting my dignity, and he took it up, and I appreciate you. You know, and it's that, you know, let's have conversations with women, not to embarrass them, but to say, you're acting really, really childish right now, and there's an opportunity for you to grow. So it is a teachable moment,
Sure. And Homo, what is it that you would like us to support you in? I mean, this is a girl on girl. We're changing the narrative now.
You guys specifically, or just
Generally, you know, ladies older than you who've been there before you. You know, what is your wish of other women, especially older women, for yourself?
I think just to help us get our foot in the door, just to take us to those lunches where I just get to see, just to be in those spaces that I would want to be in the future. Let me experience that. Open that door for me so that I know what I'm striving towards. I know what I'm working so hard for. I have that ambition and I can see it, and you're helping me also get there as well. I think more just bringing us along your journey so that we may also come and fill that space in our own someday.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's beautiful. So that when they get there, they don't feel like imposters, which often we did, and we still do.
Because no one walked us in.
No, absolutely.
Sure. And Sibzi, what is your hope for our generation?
I mean, honestly, for me, and it sounds like a broken record, right? But authenticity. Anyone who knows me will know I have a super small circle in my life. It's so small, it's almost not there. And it's deliberate, because if it's not authentic, if it's not real, if it's not building, then I don't want it. And I think, you know, 10 years ago, I had a lot of noise in my life, but I realized in the moments that really, really count, that it really didn't translate. And
Isn't it amazing?
It's incredible. It really is. And you know, I'm a big gesture person. So I did a lot of big gesture things, and I just never kind of got that energy back. And so my circle is super small right now, and I hope for those people who've chosen me like I've chosen them, that we can be authentic, but we can also be mindful. You know, be mindful when just going through your normal life. I often say, you know, I read somewhere where Michelle was talking about being married to the president of the most powerful nation in the world. And she said, at any specific moment in the day, she knows where Barack is, or she knew where Barack was and what he was doing next. Because he could be walking from the press podium, going to the Oval Office, and in there, he'd be sending her a message. So the world we live in has also hyped up the busyness. Everyone is busy, rushing, and people are not mindful about being present. And it's not about doing the grand stuff, it's just about checking in and saying, I see you, I'm here. Like I said, it's the check-in call at midnight that goes on for 90 minutes because you choose to make the time available. And for you?
I think for me, it's the realization that we need healing. I think a lot of us are carrying stuff that we don't know the origins of. So we are now focusing on the reaction versus the cause. And once we realize that we are a culmination of generations of behavior, of treatment, of socialization, then we can be kinder to ourselves. You know, to realize that I'm probably jealous of someone because I was taught that I must be the best. And when I'm not the best, I'm not comfortable. Or I'm the prettiest, or whatever it is that my society has led me to believe. Or that I'm not good enough. You know, the biggest thing I experience or I see is women who think they're either pretty or smart. And they can't be both.
And can be both.
And when they see both,
it sets them off.
They just come for you because they
How
want
dare
to
you
just stick to the books. That's the only thing, that's your only hope. Because honestly,
that's not even funny, but
so
sad in a funny way.
Just by mere fact that you represent what they are not. And if they were to look within and realize that it really is because of the way I was brought up. So let me deal with it. So I'm a better person for the next one. Because I don't think we all want to be nasty.
No, I actually think that deserves a KLINK. That was very profound, my friend.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. So let's keep talking. Let's keep guiding each other. There's enough light. There's enough juice. It's not gonna run out, I promise. And there's enough light.
Absolutely.
That's waiting for all of us to shine through. So thanks for watching. Follow us on KLINK Africa on all platforms. Please like, share, subscribe, give us your comments, and KLINK to the girl.